let's talk about the 7 foods that you must never, ever eat again. These foods are promoted as healthy foods, but in reality, behind the scenes, they are not healthy at all. In fact, they're going to make you sick. So we're going to go through all 7. And number 7 is very interesting because I tested this food in my basement on rats. So you definitely want to stay till the end to hear about what happened. Let's start with number 1, granola bars, right? naturevalley sounds wonderful. Is it really healthy? They promote using whole grains with just a touch of honey. So let's take a look at the actual ingredients. Now, I always like to ignore the nutritional facts because it doesn't really tell you much about what the ingredients are. So let's look just at the ingredients. It says whole grain oats. Okay, so this doesn't tell us if it's organic or conventional. But if we scroll all the way down, it says contains bioengineered food ingredients. Now, what does that mean? It means that they have GMO ingredients, which they're going to have levels of glyphosate. That's an herbicide. And General Mills, who owns this company, dropped the 100% natural because they got sued. The problem is it contained a chemical called glyphosate, like I just mentioned, a weed killer, which is linked to cancer. Now, you have to realize that glyphosate is the main ingredient in Roundup Ready. This is a popular herbicide, which, by the way, they were ordered to pay $300 million to a man with terminal cancer after being exposed to that herbicide. So the first thing to know is the whole grain oats are not organic. Second thing is sugar. They don't tell you what kind of sugar, cane sugar or beet sugar. Most likely it's beet sugar, which also is GMO. And then we get into canola and or sunflower oil. This is a seed oil, which is, from my viewpoint, not very healthy because it's going to create a lot of problems on the inside of your body. It's high in omega-6. Then we get into the rice flour. Okay, that's a starch, highly refined. When you're dealing with the starch, you're really dealing with sugar, right? That's what a starch is. It's a group of sugar molecules connected together. Then we get honey, like they said, only probably just a tiny bit of honey. Salt, brown sugar syrup. When they make sugar into syrup, they have to refine it more, and it's actually going to create a really nice spike when you consume it with your blood sugars. 1 serving size equals just under 7 teaspoons of sugar. All right, let's dive into number 2. Agave syrup. Now, this is a type of sweetener that a lot of people consider to be diabetic friendly, keto friendly, because it's low on the glycemic index. It sounds very natural, but anytime they make a product into a syrup, especially agave, you're going to create more fructose, okay? Now, the thing you need to know about fructose is only the liver can deal with fructose. So whereas cane sugar has about 50-50 glucose and fructose, agave syrup is literally 85% fructose. Out of all the foods and sweeteners out there, agave has the most fructose. It has even more fructose than high fructose corn syrup, okay? This means it's going to create a major problem for the liver. Your liver treats fructose like it does alcohol, like a toxin. And so, yes, it's low on the glycemic index, but it's going to create an indirect effect with insulin that's going to create the risk for diabetes, insulin resistance, obesity. You know, think about sugar or fructose. You're taking this sugar out of the normal food and you consume this in a concentrated amount, in large amounts. This is not healthy. This is not good at all. It's going to create a lot of damage to the liver. Number 3, flavored yogurt, right? Now, flavored, and of course, they always add sugar to it. You have this appearance that it's a healthy thing because it's a probiotic and it has calcium and it has protein. It's very convenient. People give this stuff to their kids all day long. But you have to realize that most of these flavored yogurts have more sugar than a candy bar. Tons of sugar, 30 grams per serving size, okay? This is like way too much sugar. And then when you're adding the sugar to the protein in it and all the other stuff, you're just going to feed your pathogens, not the good bacteria. And the amount of probiotics or beneficial microbes in this product is not very significant. Most, if not all, these microbes don't even survive the stomach acid. Personally, I do not believe there's any benefits whatsoever of these probiotics going into the actual intestine and increasing your microbes. Anytime you consume a yogurt, you want to consume it as the whole food, the whole fat. You don't want any yogurts being with skim milk or low fat at all. I mean, if you're going to do yogurt, do Bulgarian yogurt, do Greek yogurt without the added sugars. I mean, yogurt by itself has, 6 grams of sugar per serving size. Why would you want to add more sugar? What's even better than yogurt is kefir. I do it plain. You can even add berries to it. It's delicious. But the difference between kefir and yogurt is that kefir has way more friendly bacteria. So you're going to get more diversified microbes if you have kefir than actual yogurt. But in these flavored yogurts, they put thickeners as modified cornstarch. They have MSG in there, monosodium glutamate, as a flavor enhancer. So if you're consuming these flavored yogurts thinking that they're doing you some good health-wise, they're not. All right, next one on the list, non-dairy creamers that are considered a healthier alternative to milk and creams because they're lower in fat, right? But what's interesting is sometimes you don't even need to put them in the refrigerator. What is in these things? Well, there's a lot of crap in these things. They have high fructose corn syrup. They'll have glucose syrup. They'll have maltodextrin. And the type of fat that they use is trans fats, but a lot of times it's hidden because if you actually put trans fats, which are seed oils, if it's below a 0.5 gram per serving size, which is very easy to do in a non-dairy creamer, then they round it out to 0. And they can even say trans fat free, when in fact it has trans fats in there. So you really want to look at the ingredients and make sure it has no seed oils, soy, corn, canola, cottonseed. Just use regular cream, organic half and half. Then we get to my favorite, soy milk. I mean, it's bizarre to me to think that they can even call it a milk. With the soy milk, you're getting a lot of estrogenic effects. Personally, when I was in practice, I had a gentleman come in that started to develop breast tissue, and he was consuming, I'm not kidding, gallons and gallons of soy milk every single week. So there's a lot of debate whether soy is healthy or not. Well, here's the thing. The way that they process soy oils, soy isolate proteins, soy milk, I still to this day do not understand how soy milk can be considered or perceived to be something healthy or cleaner than actual organic, real milk or milk products. Then we get to number 6, which is the fast food lettuce or salad. Okay. Now, no one's going to consume that salad without dressing. So it comes with dressing. And if you've ever read the ingredients in these dressings for the salad, massive seed oils, hidden trans fats, hidden starches, high fructose corn syrup. I mean, it's just another chemical cocktail that you put on your salad to try to think that you're eating something healthier. There's a chemical called sodium bisulfite. This is something that they put into the lettuce to preserve it so it doesn't turn brown. It's a chemical. So you don't really know how long that salad's been sitting there. But I think the biggest thing is they use a chlorine wash to make sure all the E. coli, salmonella is killed off. Well, realize when they're killing off this bad pathogen, they're also killing off the good stuff as well. And I don't want to eat a salad that has this chlorinated, bleached chemical on it. The next time you want a salad, don't get it from a fast food restaurant. And the last food that I would highly recommend that you avoid, puffed cereal, puffed rice cakes. There was this chemist and he worked for Quaker Oats. Okay. They fired him because he noticed when they did the study on rats with puffed cereal, they would die. So I set up this experiment in my basement. I had 4 separate cages. Okay. In the first group of mice, I fed them mice food. The second group of mice or rats, I fed whole wheat bread. Okay. Third group, I fed white bread. And the fourth group, I fed puffed cereal. In one of the cages of rats, I noticed that the eyes started turning bright red and started bulging out. And these mice were actually dying prematurely. And this is after 1.5 to 2 weeks. Okay. Now take a wild guess what group you think this was. Most of you are thinking it's the white bread, right? No. Something in the puffed cereal created the eyes to turn bright red, and it was literally bulging out, and it was killing the mice. So Paul Stitt's experiments were actually true from my viewpoint. He wrote a book called Beating the Food Giants. You can probably get it on Amazon. He goes through the whole story. That was enough of an experiment to get me to stop consuming puffed cereals. But here's the wild thing that happened. I went on vacation for a week. I had to do this seminar, and I told my wife to take care of the mice. Somehow the mice that survived got out of the cage. I don't know if you know my wife, Karen, right? She comes downstairs and she sees that the cage is open and all these mice are getting out. She freaked out, right? So this is why I have never duplicated that experiment. I'm not allowed to have any type of gerbils, hamsters, mice ever ever again. We had to have some people come out to catch these mice. When I finally got home, I went out in the woods and I let them go free. So anyway, now you know the 7 foods to completely stay away from if you want to retain your health. And if you haven't seen this video on the healthiest food that you should be eating, I put that up right here. Check it out.